A new strategic victory for Iran, and a new quagmire that Trump falls into in a single night. 18 American military bases were under intense Iranian bombardment, and there is talk that the F-35 jets are now out of service. But America remains completely silent, while Trump comes out to announce that Iran is begging to stop the war. American newspapers reveal the real secret behind the forced diplomacy just hours before the World Cup. Is Trump living in illusions, or has America fallen into a terrifying war of attrition, with China being the biggest beneficiary? We have all these details for you today, but after this break, stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to our renewed meeting today, God willing, in this episode of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to following the latest developments and updates in this major global conflict taking place in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. The latest development in the past few hours, dear viewers, is that President Trump has once again backed down from the decision to return to war. Today, in a new statement as usual with Fox News, he said that he gave orders to stop the airstrikes on Iran and that it is possible that the strikes could resume again with even greater force tonight. But what's strange, dear viewers, is that Trump, as usual, clearly still lives in illusions and makes statements that are false and completely contrary to reality. Trump said in this interview that the halt of the strikes came at the request of the Iranians from Iran. He said that senior officials in Iran called him by phone and asked him to stop the strikes. Such a statement is not new today. Since the beginning of this war, Trump has been saying that the Iranians are surrendering, that they called him and asked him to stop the war, and so on. He previously said that there are new leaders in Iran who also contacted him to seek America's favor. He also said earlier that the new leaders who are running Iran today after the assassination of Khamenei are open to America and want to seek America's favor, and so on. Since the beginning of this war, Trump has been making such delusional statements. But Iran has denied all of this. Of course, Iran said we did not contact him. We did not ask him to stop the bombing. They said the Iranian military response is coming and it will be strong. Iran even described this claim from Trump as an attempt to escape from the war, just a cover to avoid continuing the war. Because yesterday, Trump said that the time for negotiations is over, and now it's time for military intervention, which means going back to war again. So Trump, in order to stop this military strike that he authorized, he had set the bar very high, saying it would be decisive, that it would lead to the collapse of Iran, and so on, in order to stop this. He couldn't find any excuse except to claim that Iran was the one who asked him for that, meaning that he was going to destroy Iran, wipe it out, and strike its energy facilities and infrastructure and so on. But Iran, or an Iranian official, were the ones who begged him not to do this. This is how Trump wants to deceive the international community and especially the American people. So today, there were American strikes on about 7 areas, all of them coastal regions overlooking the Gulf waters, and they were hit with Tomahawk cruise missiles. And it's clear that America deliberately targeted only the coastal areas overlooking the Strait of Hormuz, in order to strip Iran of the surveillance and monitoring tools it relies on in the Strait of Hormuz, so that these military or cargo ships can pass through the Strait of Hormuz without Iranian interference. But this strategy, in the strikes, is well known. It was during the Ramadan war, which lasted for 40 days, and it was pointless. In the end, Iran maintained its control and held the Strait of Hormuz for 40 days, and now for almost 3 months. So it's also clear from these American strikes that America is also worried that Iran might succeed in shooting down American fighter jets. It is noticeable that American aircraft cannot approach or enter Iranian airspace. for fear that one of these planes might be shot down. That's why cruise missiles were used from outside the area, and that's how it was done in this strike. And here, pay close attention. The war of attrition is still ongoing even though the truce continues. It's still ongoing because we've seen some drones that have been shot down, and now also the Apache helicopter that was just shot down. Today, we're talking about around 20 or 30 cruise missiles that were used in just one night, meaning in a single night. This large number of missiles has been depleted from the American military stockpile, while China has produced and strengthened its own stockpile of such missiles. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard also gave a strong response to this American attack, saying that it struck a number of American targets spread across 18 American military bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, and Iraq. Command centers were hit, communication antennas were struck, facilities were targeted, and radars belonging to the Patriot system were also hit. In addition, hiding locations for American fighter jets, including the F-35, F-16, and F-15 were also targeted. So it's certain that the strike, this is definite, caused attrition and military losses, which may mean that other aircraft are now out of service. But America is currently remaining silent. America does not acknowledge, at all, the losses. There was a statement from the commander of the Air Force in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. He said in a message directed at the Americans that Iran will turn the Gulf region into hell for the Americans. There was another statement from the head of the Iranian judiciary. He said that the Iranian people are never afraid of threats from the West. He said that the Iranian people are steadfast like a mountain, and that they truly understand the real meaning of dignity through their sacrifices for religion and the homeland. And here, pay close attention as well. Iranians always put religion before the homeland. Religion comes before the homeland. They don't say the homeland and religion, but rather religion and the homeland, for the sake of religion and the homeland. This means that in all the statements made by Iranian leaders, there is a doctrine, a very strong doctrine. So the important thing is that the Iranian Chief Justice said that Islamic Iran, with God's help, will completely end the American presence in the West Asia region. Completely in the West Asia region. And when he says West Asia, it's completely different from the Middle East region. There's a difference. West Asia is a larger area than the Middle East because it includes these Middle Eastern countries. And it also includes South Caucasus countries like Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Georgia. These countries are known to have direct borders with Russia. So when Iran says West Asia, it means ending the American presence. Even in these countries I mentioned, which have borders with Russia and are outside the Middle East region, it's a very important message. It strongly resonates with Russia. And this is what made the Secretary General of the United Nations issue a statement today in which he said that this conflict in the Middle East has consequences that go beyond the region's borders. He said the conflict could turn into a full-scale war. Pakistan and Turkey also made phone calls with each other through their foreign ministers, and they issued a statement calling on Iran and the United States to exercise restraint so that the region does not get dragged into a full-scale war. This means the situation is very serious as well. One of the new developments today is that the United States struck an Iranian cargo ship while it was in Omani territorial waters. The ship was transporting goods from the Sultanate of Oman to Iran, while the Iranian Navy seized 2 cargo ships linked to this blue entity. Iran said that the seizure happened because they tried to breach the protocols imposed by Iran. The commander of the naval forces in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard said that any ship that dares to violate this protocol in effect will be seized. He said this is not a warning, but a strict law from Iran, and he said a very important phrase. He said that the Strait of Hormuz passes through the heart of the Islamic Republic of Iran. In other words, it's not Iran that controls the Strait of Hormuz, but rather the strait passes through the heart of Iran. This is a very important phrase with significant implications. Iran, through its various leaders, comes out every day with new statements, details, and developments as well. The new thing today was that some American media outlets, like the American Axios website and the Wall Street Journal, said, according to sources inside the American administration, that this American escalation did not come with the intention of returning to war at all. They said it only came within the framework of what is called coercive diplomacy. So the goal is to increase pressure on Iran and force it to sign the agreement the way America wants, meaning to gain further concessions from Iran. But these sources confirm to these newspapers that such escalation really does carry a great risk, meaning the risk of the situation turning into a full-scale war in the region. This means that after Trump realized that Iran would not give in and would only sign an agreement that fulfills its declared demands, he carried out this escalation to put military pressure on it, just a few hours before the start of the World Cup, believing that this escalation and these strikes would force Iran to make new concessions. But we saw how the Iranian response was swift and decisive, and it gave Trump a very strong lesson. If America strikes Iran again, Iran will also strike these American targets in the region. But if the situation continues like this, things will get out of control, things will turn into a full-scale war, and this is something America absolutely does not want right now. The funny thing today is that some American leaders are still making threats that we could call childish, maybe just a show for domestic consumption, as if Iran today is the same as Iran in the past. For example, the American Secretary of Defense, Hegseth, said that Iran must sign the agreement or else it will face more attacks, as if Iran is afraid of these attacks, can't respond, and is living in great fear because of them. Hegseth said that Trump is the best negotiator in the world. Pay close attention. He said that Trump is the best negotiator in the world, and that Iran must accept the agreement Trump is offering now. Honestly, these are strange statements that are far from reality, as if a group of fools have taken over the government and today they're doing whatever they want in the world, or as if everything happening today is because of them. It's just like a video game they're playing or a play where certain roles are being acted out. We can say that America today has truly become a country without real political leaders. It's clear that there are illusions, and the American administration is experiencing great confusion, to the point that it doesn't have any real strategy at all today. The plans are failing. Things are rapidly developing toward a major all-out war, and America's leaders say they're only applying military pressure on Iran to make it submit. What happened over the past 2 days is the most dangerous escalation since the beginning of this truce, and they are still talking about military pressure on Iran. Iran has changed the equations, it has become a powerful regional force in the area, and they are still talking about military pressure, as if Iran is Hezbollah, or just one of the armed groups or something like that. Now, Trump is actually making America inherit more and more problems. Why do I say this? Because now America strikes, the Iranian response comes even stronger, and America is not satisfied with that, so it strikes Iran again, then Iran responds even more strongly, and so on. Trump always finds himself in a bigger dilemma, in a deeper quagmire. If he stops, Iran wins, Iran teaches America a lesson it will never forget. If he doesn't stop, the strikes will continue until things escalate into a full-scale war. This is what's dangerous for America. So now there are still attempts, from Pakistan, from Qatar, from Turkey, and from some other countries to stop this escalation. But the problem now is, and as I said, Iran is achieving another very clear strategic victory, because if the escalation stops now, Iran will have achieved a strategic victory in this battle once again, in a second round. And if this escalation does not stop, Iran will also have achieved another strategic victory, because this is exactly what Iran wants. Breaking this deadlock, exploiting the strength it has gained after the Ramadan war, and thus breaking this stalemate, and moving towards signing an agreement that aligns with what Iran aspires to. So we will see how things will unfold in the next few hours. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.